Russell here, and I wanted to give you a quick overview of what we would cover in a 2-hour session. This is a super quick run through just to give you an idea of what you could expect. So often when we're having a hard conversation, we actually have 3 conversations. We've got the conversation that other people would be able to witness here in the yellow and green bubbles, but then we have these other conversations that you can see this person is having and this person is having. And these conversations are not normally all that helpful. So this is an introduction to the neuroscience of these difficult conversations and how we've got to be able to get our brains into a good place and the other person's brain into a good place in order to do this conversation well. We have a bit of a fun activity we do with that one. Then we're after a few other bits and pieces, we're into the nuts and bolts of the session where we look at these 3 different mindsets. So you can see that some of them are less effective than others. So down here we've got ignore and go to war. So ignore is like flight or freeze, and go to war is like fight. It's when our brains are not in a very resourceful state. It's like our amygdala hijack is going on. What we want to be able to do is get up here to explore. This is much more strategic. This is all about collaboration and listening and problem solving. If you can imagine, ignore is like head in the sand, procrastination, avoidance. Go to war is like aggression, you against me. It is about blaming, it's about not listening, it's about shutting people down. Neither of these are effective, and yet sometimes we can go to this place when we are not in a particularly resourceful state of mind. I like to point out that Explore is not all rainbows and unicorns. You can reset expectations, hold people to account, and hold the line in a hard Explore. But it's all about not shitting over their mana. So the idea is that they would be able to leave the conversation not having lost face, regardless of how difficult the subject matter might have been. We talk about these 3 levels. So triggered, when we're like really in a triggered state and ignore and go to war, there's not many great conversations happening down there. How we habitually are throughout our lives. And up here, how we can strategically be an explorer. And we do some great activities so people can understand a little bit about how they turn up. Then we talk about how this looks in the body. So we've got ignore, looking a bit floppy, a bit disengaged. We've got go to war, which is looking very pointed, taking up lots of space, frowning, etc. And then we've got explore. So just looking very centered, very grounded, very calm. And we talk about how we can actually get into this explore mindset through our body as well as through our brain. Then we talk a little bit about the process. So we explore a bit about the purpose, the preparation, the launch, and then obviously more about the explore itself. And depending on how much time we've got, we can go into more details in this part. So I'm going to leave you with the meat in the sandwich, which is the mindsets themselves: ignore, explore, go to war. I have found in these sessions that people will walk away with a really good understanding of how they turn up and realizing that they have a choice if they want to turn up in a different way.